Alright, so today I'm going to do a quick video of how to check the wiring on sensors. I was helping a guy last week where he was concerned that he had some wiring issues. So I'm just going to show you a quick way to verify the wiring to the sensors of the engine, or any sensors really. And you should probably check this if you're diagnosing a sensor problem anyway. It's fast, it's quick, and it's easy. In this example, we're going to be looking at the throttle position sensor on this demo board, and also engine coolant temp sensor. So we've got example of a 3-wire and a 2-wire sensor. So the first thing you want to do when you're checking the sensors, you want to make sure that you've got proper voltage going to it. So 4.9 to 5.1 is pretty much a hard spec on sensors that operate on 5 volts. You want to make sure that it's there. You start seeing 4.7 or something like that, that's a good indication that the PCM is going bad. So what I want to do here is, once I verify that I've got 5 volts there, is I'm going to go to the scan tool, and I've customized the data to just look at the PIDs I'm interested in. So I've got the TPS on this side and I've got the coolant temp on this one. So first of all, I'm going to check the throttle position sensor. Since I know that I've got 5 volts going to it, I make these little jumper wires, and the paper clip would work too, but I just use these little back probes and a wire. And just be careful when you're front probing a connector that you don't waller it out. That's why I like the small needles. But so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the 5 volt signal, so I've taken the 5 volt reference voltage and I've jumped it to the signal wire. And then if you look at the scan tool, you can see I'm reading 5 volts there. So that tells me from this connector all the way back to the ECM receives it, the logic's correct in the PCM, it sends it out the DLC back to my scan tool, shows me that I've got 5 volts. So that tells me that signal wire is good, the reference voltage wire is good, everything's good there so far. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the ground side. This is where I'm going to take and jump ground to the signal wire. Need my glasses. And then if you notice, when I jump it to ground, you see how it goes to 0 volts. So at that point I know the signal and the ground wire from the connector are good. It goes to the PCM. It's got the correct logic in the PCM. Sends it to the DLC and back to the scan tool, where I've got a bad connection here. And back to the scan tool, and you can see down here I'm at 0 volts. So that's telling me that the whole TPS wiring harness to the PCM, all that's good, PCM is good, and it can display it on the scan tool. So any of the 3-wire sensors are going to be done with that same method to verify the wiring's good. When you go over to a 2-wire sensor, like a coolant temp sensor, it's a little bit different. What I'm going to do is, if you notice right here, this one's running at about 180 degrees. So to verify the wiring on that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unhook the sensor. When I unhook the sensor, you're going to notice it drops to roughly around -40 volts. So that's telling me the wiring's good from the sensor to the PCM. PCM can interpret the data correct and display it on the scan tool. So when I want to check to see if the other side of the circuit's good, I'm just going to use my same jumper wire, and I'm just going to jump that connector on the ECM or the coolant temp sensor. And you notice when I jump that wire, you'll notice now that I'm close to 300 degrees. So you want to see close to 300 degrees. Sometimes they're a little lower, a little higher, but in that 300 temp range. So that's verified that the wiring's good from the sensor It sends it to the ECM. It can calculate the readings correctly and then display it out here on the scan tool. So by doing these quick little jumps with the jumper wire, you can verify the wiring from the sensors to the PCM are good without wasting much time at all. Anyway, that's it for today, and thanks for watching.